What's up, everybody? Or as we like to say here in New Jersey, how you doing? Scott Necker back here for another sports lot that I just bought. I actually bought this lot while I was in the midst of making the first video. I was able to finalize that a couple days ago. I figured I'd throw this one up here as well, as all the cards from this lot and the previous lot will be in my stack sales starting probably tomorrow, May 5th. So one of the things I want to talk about today, besides the lot, is some of the types of deals I've been doing and what you're seeing when you're buying lots on Facebook or Craigslist or garage sales for that matter. Really, what I've noticed is there's really three type of sellers on these platforms. The first type are fellow collectors that are looking to just get rid of their extra cards, cards that are only worth maybe a quarter or 50 cents a piece. We're talking about low end parallels, low end serial numbered cards, rookie cards that are not big stars. And they'll usually throw those out there. I bought a number of those for, $80, $100. But there's like 1,000 cards in them. Very good deals if you see the right ones. I would definitely look through all the pictures so that you can see, at least get an idea of what is in that lot to see if it's really worth purchasing. Like I said, I've bought like 3 or 4 of them. Very happy with the purchases that I've made. Most of those have been from out of state, so you include the shipping, and they usually come out pretty good. The second type I've found are individuals that do not have any personal connection whatsoever to their cards. So this perfect example is the last lot that I bought that I showed in the first video. That was a couple. They had a bunch of cards. They were at their house. They said they were their nephew's cards, and they just needed them out of the house. They have no personal connection whatsoever to these cards. They just want to get rid of them. The thing that I've noticed about these type of sellers, though, is that most of the time they're really have no knowledge whatsoever of cards, number one. Number two, if they are selling a lot for 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 cards, they're throwing it up there for like 500 to 1,000 because they just see this huge amount of cards and they think, oh, wow, 1,000 cards, I can get $1,000. That's where education really comes into existence when you're dealing with these individuals. You have to let them know that quantity does not really equal quantity. You hope that conversation goes well. If after the first 1 or 2 times touching base with them and it doesn't seem like it's going well, then you just kind of just skip out on it at that point. But really, those type of individuals, you really have to educate on what the cards are and what they're really, really worth. The last type of seller that I've come across is the ones that do have a personal connection to their cards. This video that I'm making now with this lot is a perfect example of that. The gentleman that I bought the lot from, the cards were from his childhood. He started collecting when he was about 5 years of age, so he told me. And he collected pretty much all through the 90s. His favorite player was Shaq. The majority of the cards were basketball. He loves basketball. He is a local guy, grew up in Woodbridge, New Jersey. So for him to give up these cards, because that's basically what he's doing. I mean, granted, he's getting some money back for them, but a part of it is he's kind of given up his childhood too. So when I find these individuals, the first thing I'm looking to do is, number one, see how serious they are about actually getting rid of them. Some of them are just throwing out a huge high number, whether to just make their spouse happy and say, hey, listen, I have them on Facebook, I'm trying to get rid of them. Some of them are just literally just throwing out there to see if they are worth anything. So these individuals you really have to take care with. Again, educating them, but at the same time, when I do it, I don't want to hurt their feelings. Say, hey, listen, your lot is not worth anything. Um, so educating, but also trying to be a little nice about it at the same time. So that gets me talking about this current lot that I have. I picked it up on Saturday. The gentleman I bought it from, actually, he grew up in Woodbridge, but he only lives, maybe about 20 minutes from me down in Bayville. Great guy. We've actually been going back and forth since March on this lot. He originally posted it and had a bunch of pictures. I unfortunately do not have the post. By the time I got back home with the lot, he had already taken it down from Facebook. I do have pictures, though, that he had sent me through instant message that I'll be able to show during this, though. So his original post showed a bunch of these pictures, a lot of, like I said earlier, a lot of 90s basketball, closed sets, everything like that. So the thing that turned me off, though, a little bit, and you'll see this on Facebook or Craigslist, is that he had for a price $1,234, which means he didn't have a price whatsoever. He kind of fit into that one category. He was just kind of putting it out there to see what came back. So I contacted him. We were going back and forth, and I tried to get him to give me a number. Unfortunately, he wasn't. I haven't gone through all of them yet, and I'm thinking in my head, well, why'd you put it up there then? But anyway, so we went on a little bit and took a little back seat from it for a bit. He reached out to me about 2 or 3 weeks later. Hey, you still interested? And I said, you know what? Let me see. Tell me what. Give me a price, because I was actually in the midst of buying a different lot previous to me making videos on these, and I have only about $100 to spend. He's like, well, I can give you this, this, and this. I was like, let's put it on the back burner and we'll check it out. So goes by probably about another month, and we finally hooked the back up last week. I actually reached out to him. I said, have you sold everything yet? I said, I'm really interested. I've got some extra cash now. And he's like, he's had a lot of interest. But the problem was he was looking for somebody to come to him and go through the cards and kind of get an idea of what they were really worth. So with some of these pictures I'll show you now. So in this first picture, you'll see that there were a bunch of 90s classic sets. You could see the Hardaway, the Shaq. There was a McDonald's set in there, and they were okay. I mean, they were decent. There were decent sets in there. Then we get to the second picture. This one really scared me off. It was just a box of cards. I mean, it just looked like they'd been thrown in there. This one it looked like at least all baseball. So that was good for me because I am a huge baseball fan and baseball seller, though basketball is a close second for me. So then we got to the third one, and that was just a box of cards. Some were in penny sleeves, some weren't. But then we got to the fourth picture in the list, and on his post, which was some WCW cards. I love me my WCW cards. I love my wrestling cards. The Panini Prism that came out recently has really had an uptick in sales for wrestling. These were from 91, and it was great. So that definitely turned me on. But then the last picture did it. I mean, you can see right here the red StarQuest Jordan. It's kind of like that Allstate commercial. I gotta have it. I don't know if you've all seen that commercial, but that's what I was thinking when I saw that last picture. So we connected. I just said, I got some time Saturday. Let me go down. I go down there, and we have a good conversation. Lives right on the water, really nice house. We're in his garage. He's got everything all laid out over 2 long tables at that point. So I start seeing the different things that I'm looking at. We're going through some things, and that's when I start educating him. I said, hey, listen, this is 90s stuff. it's kind of mass produced depending on what you have. I don't think, other than the Jordan, I don't think there's going to be any things, any huge cards there. So then all of a sudden, he literally breaks out some StarQuest cards, which were good, including the Jordan. And I'll show you some of the other ones that were in there later. So we go back and forth, and I was like, what do you want for everything? He's like, why don't you tell me what you want and how much you'll pay? So I basically pick out the things that I was really looking at, the WCW cards. There were some Marvel cards in there, which I love. The StarQuests with the Jordan, of course. And there were a couple other things, the Shaq box, the Penny box, those type of things. So I said, you know what? Here's what I'll do. For all this that I want, there's some things that were in there. There was a binder of all minor league cards from '91, which were worthless, which I basically told him that nicely. But for everything that I wanted, I said, here's what I'll do. I'll give you $200. And he's like, you know what? And I think he started feeling, not pressure, but overwhelmed a little bit. So he's like, do you mind going over this one by one, and we'll price out everything that way? I was like, yeah, sure. I got no problem with that. So we start going over one by one. Turns out everything that I wanted, as I was pricing it one by one, I ended up paying him less than what I originally was going to pay him. So I did not pay him $200. I ended up paying him $160. I figured the Jordan, before I went down and researched it, it's going on eBay from anywhere from $60 to $160. So I was thinking, that's going to pay for the majority of the lot, and I'll have all these other cards left, including the WCW, which, again, love my wrestling cards. So I ended up getting it for $160. So what we'll do now, let's go take a look, see what I got, and see how well I did. Thanks. Okay, so here is what I ended up from the lot we were just discussing. I'll go through some of these. This is going to be a lot quicker than the last video. So first of all, we do have the Collector's Choice 1995 baseball set. There are 15 gold cards in this. I'm debating whether I should sell the whole set as is, or if I'll just open it up, break it up, and sell it piece by piece. So we'll put that off to the side. We also have the Shaq Metal Classic, or Classic Metal Edge set, 20 cards. Again, complete set. It's sealed. It doesn't look like it's the original seal, so I may just sell this as is, pretty cheap. I ended up getting it, fairly inexpensively. So we have that. Then we have this box. So the gentleman that I bought it from, he wanted to sell the cards. All of these cards were actually in binders and paged. For some reason, he did want to keep the binders and pages, which is fine. So I ended up with a box of all the cards. So first, we actually have two different things in here. So the first thing is we have a number of, I believe these are 97, 98 UD choice, 98, 99, my apologies. So you can see just, there's some basic commons in here, some inserts, and there's a Kobe. Look at that. Nice. So we'll put that off to the side. And there's a Shaquille right behind it. Looks good. So I'll end up going through these, getting rid of all the commons, as I discussed, and there's another Shaq right there on the bottom. We'll take that and put that over there. So I'll end up just going through these real quick, getting rid of all the commons, and there's another Kobe. Love this so far. And then just selling them out piecemeal, one by one. Again, as I always do, just for a quarter a piece for most of them. Not the Kobe's and the Shaqs though. So we have the UD Choice 98, 99, and here's one more pile of those. Saw Garrett on the top. Thought it was Garnett.
Eyesight is go. Oh, there. Speaking of which there is the Garnett. So there's a Jordan Draw Your Own Game. One of the heads up ones, Juwan Howard, and mostly just some commons. Sean Bradley. So we have those that were in there. Then the one thing I love, and a lot of my buyers really love these, WCW cards. These were 1991 Impel. From what the gentleman told me, again, they were all paged in binders. There is a complete set here, minus 2 cards. And then there was a ton of other extras in there as well. But, the biggest ones, the Stings, we got the Lugers, there's Vicious there. I believe there's a bunch of Flairs in here as well. Steiner Brothers. So these sell really well. The Stings and, the bigger ones, like the Flairs, I'll end up getting probably 50 cents to $1 each on those. The rest will go for a quarter, but these really sell, especially with the recent release of the Panini WWE cards. People are starting to get back into wrestling cards, starting to really like it again. They're starting to sell really well. So we've got a bunch to go through on here. And I'll literally just put every single one on there, other than the Sting, the Flairs, for a quarter. So that is that. Then we have a binder. I wasn't really that excited about the binder, but he wanted to get rid of it, so I just got it really fairly cheap. So I just took it. You can see it's the rookie set from Classic. A lot of the different rookies from the 90s, from early 90s. I know there's McDyson here. This is Stackhouse's rookie year. Kevin Garnett there for the USA teams. And then with these cards also, as I was looking, there's also, so you have the regular card, but then you also have a foil card. So it's about finding out which one it is. None of these really sell that much. Foil, non-foil. A lot of these I'll just throw out. Evan Meek, I remember him from Duke. Nobody's really going to be interested in those. But, some of the bigger names in here, or even not the bigger names, but the so-so names even, I'll be able to sell on those, on my stack sales, for about a quarter a piece. I would say maybe only about a quarter of this binder I'll be able to actually sell. There's Glenn Robinson, Juwan Howard, and these look like, so here's the regular, and this is what the foil one looks like, if you can see it in the video. We got some Moes, Dikembes, Hakeems. So there is that binder. And then finally, we have this box of cards. So this is a combination. It was just really a regular box of cards. I did throw a couple things in here. We have the Penny Hardaway metal collector's cards, not sealed. But the cards themselves are still sealed in the plastic individually. So I'm not sure if I'll sell this as the set or as the cards as of yet. So there's the 6 metal cards, and the whole set is there. Then we also have the McDonald's NBA Hoops cards, including USA basketball cards. This was with the original Dream Team cards in there. So the Jordan, Stockton, Bird, all those individuals. Again, not sure if I'll sell that as a complete set or with just break it down into singles. And then this was, like I said, this was just a box of cards. Amazing to me the things that people put in hard cases. Not sure if he was a Brewer fan or not, but Kevin Brown did get his card inside a hard case. So same with Pete Bryan. there was really nothing in here. I just flipped through it you got some Hall of Famers, but very few. There's a Ripken, Clemens, Nolan Ryan, a couple more Nolan Ryans, Clemens. That's a nice old Kellogg's Corn Flakes 3D of Phil Niekro there. Back's a little bit creased though, but from 1992. There's a Griffey. Unfortunately, it's his dad, Ken Griffey. Again, Frank Viola gets a hard case here. So this was really just, for what he charged me for it, it wasn't really that big of a deal. Then we also have another penny metal. This one is sealed, so I'll probably sell this as is. There are 4 metal cards in here. So there's the 3 there, and the 4th. And then I put these off to the side as well. These are really nice. I have a lot of collectors that love these. So we've got some Marvel cards here. Not great condition. You can see the Spider-Man on the corner right here. A little bit bent. Same on this corner. But there were about maybe 14 or 15 of these Marvel cards in here. This one's really beat up there. The plastic's already coming off. But for part of the lot and what I paid, I got him to throw these in with them as well. Nice Cyclops. Love that photo there. And then getting down to the end here. A bunch of the Star Quests. So the blue were the most common. So we've got a number of blue ones here. So I just flipped through these. A lot of minor stars in here. But again, because they're Star Quests, because they're inserts. Got a Grant Hill, got a Hakeem, a couple of Hakeems there. AI, Ewing, Penny, Zoe. So with these, the minor stars, I'll at least get a quarter for each of those. Some of the other stars, Hakeem, Pat, Grant Hill, speaking of which, J-Kid, 50 cents to $1 on some of those. From there, the green is the next most uncommon. So I got a couple of those. Again, another Grant, another Hakeem, and Damon Stoudemire. Red was, I think there's a gold above this, but red is the next level up, so there was only one of those in there. So those are some pretty nice cards. And then finally, the last part, which we saw one of these, and we did see this card. So I did end up getting the Jordan Red Star Quest. It was part of the lot, and we made a nice deal for it. So that is a really nice card. Can't wait to get that up on the stack sales. But these were not pictured. We have one Jordan blue. We have another Jordan blue. And we have a Kobe blue. So we ended up with 2 Jordan blues, 1 Jordan red, and a Kobe blue. So nice hit on all those. This one I knew about. These I didn't. I didn't even see those when we looked at the original postings. As I discussed in the opening of how I came about it, I did end up seeing them when I went to pay for everything, but they weren't pictured. So those were nice to see when I actually got to meet him. So that's everything. Again, all these cards will eventually be up for sale on my stack sales. That is my Twitter, @Scott Necker. It's SCOTTNAECKER. If you don't want to buy, just hit me up there and just say hi. Let me let you know if you like the videos. That's it for now. Until the next lot. Thanks, everybody.